This lounge. I'm Hesham Jamil. I hope you all are doing well. Today, again, I am here with the new episode of the Traders Lounge, and today I am going to discuss another and really important topic with Maya. And uh, I love the topic of discussions like that. I love to explore the history. I love to explore about the ancient civilization and all the things. But now, my topic is uh, or something like we can ask just twist it a little bit.
Sounds like a good place.
So today's my topic I am going to discuss with Maya is why did ancient civilization settle near rivers? So that was my topic of
Ooh, that's a
discussion.
good one.
That and I'm going to discuss this with Maya, and I hope this interview you will learn a lot from this interview. So let's get started on this interview with Maya. First of all, hello Maya, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. That's a fascinating topic. Rivers and ancient civilizations. Definitely a lot to unpack there.
Mm.
Ready when you are.
So can we start our this podcast, Maya?
Yep. Let's go for it.
Okay, Maya. So let's start our today's my podcast. First of all, Maya, to begin, could you please tell us what does it mean when we say ancient civilizations settled near rivers?
Right. Well, when we say ancient civilizations settled near rivers, it basically means that the earliest and most influential cultures, think Egypt with the Nile, Mesopotamia with the Tigris and Euphrates, the Indus Valley civilization, they all sprung up and thrived alongside major waterways. It wasn't a coincidence, you know? It was pretty fundamental to their survival.
Yes.
Does that make sense as a
Okay.
starting point? Great.
Yes, Maya. I think that was a good point for starting. So I now curious is which major rivers were most important to the early civilizations.
Oh, that's a smart follow up. Which rivers do you mean? Which ones were most important?
Yes.
Okay, so the big ones, the ones that really stand out, are the Nile in Egypt, the Tigris and Euphrates in Mesopotamia, the Indus River in the Indus Valley, the Yellow River in China. Those are probably the four most significant for the earliest civilizations. They provided everything those societies needed to get going. Anything you want to expand on there?
Okay.
Great.
Maya,
Just
you are just taking a breath and you are just giving a short answer. So please, I want to explore in the deep dive. So please find in a clear way and explain everything. So and now in ancient civilization that grew around rivers and they would be they are famous.
You're absolutely right to call me out on that. I defaulted to just listing them. Sorry about that. Deep dive it is. Okay. So when we talk about ancient civilizations and rivers, it's about more than just being nearby. It's about a complete relationship. Rivers weren't just water sources, they were lifelines. They provided fertile land for agriculture through annual flooding, which deposited nutrient rich silt. They were transportation routes for communication. And frankly, they source of food. Fish, waterfowl, whatever you could catch. As Egypt is a classic example centered around the Nile. Mesopotamia, that's modern day Iraq and Syria, flourished between the Tigris and Euphrates. The Indus Valley civilization is day Pakistan and northwest India, and on the Indus River territories. There's ancient China, which developed along the Yellow River. And you also have the one in the Peruvian Andes that flourished around rivers created by snowmelt. Those are probably the most famous examples.
Okay, Maya, thanks so much for explaining that in a clear way, engaging way. So, Maya, now can you tell us that uh, why were rivers so attractive to early human societies?
Good question. Well, boils down to basic survival.
Hello, can you hear me, Maya? Hello, I think my internet connection is slow. That's why my cut it off. So we have to call it again. Welcome back, Maya.
Hey, so river civilizations, huh?
Yes, yes, Maya. We were discussing that. So
You still
yes,
there?
Maya, I'm still here.
Just check.
Wait,
check.
Maya, my question was like, why were rivers are so attractive to the early human societies? That was my question. Hello, can you hear me? I think I have a lot of internet issue. That was hello, Maya.
Hey, Hesham, everything all right? Just wanted to make sure you're still with me.
Maya, I'm still with
Uh,
you, but I think my internet connection is something slow. So, but now I think it was restored, so now it is good. So, Maya, now we have to continue our conversation. And Maya, my last one question was that why were rivers are so attractive to the early human societies?
gotcha. Slow connection is the worst. Glad it seems better now. Right, rivers in early societies. So that's a good question. I think the biggest thing is just everything rivers provided. Not just water, obviously, but fertile land for farming because of the silt, easy transportation for trade and travel, and a reliable food source. It was kind of a packaged deal. Everything you needed to build a stable community. Does that make sense?
Mm, yes, Maya, I think that makes sense. Yes, it was like accurate. So, Maya, now can you explain that how did rivers help in the survival of ancient peoples?
Okay, so you're asking specifically how rivers helped with survival beyond the basics like water and food. Got it. Well, think about it like this. Rivers weren't just a resource, they were also a kind of a natural barrier against enemies,
Yes.
for one thing. And they provided fish, which was a pretty reliable protein source. But really, it was the agriculture thing. Consistent access to water meant constant harvests. That surplus of food is what allowed populations to grow and specialize. Not everyone had to be a farmer. People could become artisans, builders, leaders. That's where civilization really started to take off, you know? It all goes back to having enough to eat. Does that land? Mm,
Yes, man, that was Len, and that was resonant with my question. So thank you so much for explanation. So, man, now can you explain that what was the what was access to fresh water so critical for early settlement?
okay, so you want me to really break down why access to fresh was so critical? Yeah, absolutely. It wasn't just about drinking, although that was obviously important. It was about the river helped carry waste, which reduced the spread of disease. And huge when you're living in close quarters. Plus, you need water for animals, both domesticated ones and the wild game. Oh, sorry, I just drilled off there for a sec. My apologies. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Absolutely. Right. Sure thing. Take your time. Just let me know when you pick up where we left off with rivers. Hey, are you still there? Checking in. It's totally okay if you need a minute.
Rivers contribute to agriculture.
Oh, wait, so you want to talk about how rivers contribute to agriculture? My apologies for the little earlier. Right, so rivers didn't just provide water for agriculture, actively helped create fertile land. Think about annual flooding. It would deposit silt, really nutrient-rich soil. All I meant farmers didn't have to constantly refill. Nature was doing it for them. That's a huge advantage.
Hmm, okay, that's great.
So with me,
Okay, so
Hesham,
now
just want
can you explain that? Yes, Maya, I am with you. So please be active, then you can hear me. So I now can tell us like, did rivers act as a natural boundary of protection for civilization? And please explain answers in a like in details so that we can know it betterly. You are like just telling us the basics. So please go in deep dive all the things.
okay, good. Glad to hear you're still there. And absolutely. Rivers acted as natural boundaries, offering protection to early civilization. Think about it like this: a river is a pretty tough obstacle quickly, especially in ancient times. It naturally limited where enemies could attack from a degree of security. And it wasn't just about stopping armies. Rivers also created natural divisions between different groups of people, which could prevent smaller scale conflicts or at least make them more predictable. It wasn't full, of course. People still fought over access to rivers and the resources they provided, but it definitely offered some inherent defense advantages. Does that make sense? Go deeper specific examples if you'd like. Hey, Sean, still there? The connection.
Yes, I am still with you, but I think my internet is too slow. That was the main reason of disconnecting a lot. So Maya, now can you explain that what role did rivers play in the development of farming?
Okay, the internet could definitely be causing some of this. Is and you want to know about the role rivers played in the development of farming specifically? Yeah, we touched on the silt in the water, but it goes. Rivers enabled irrigation. Early farmers figured out how to divert water from rivers into canals to water their crops, especially in areas where rainfall was unreliable. That to farm more land and get multiple harvests a year. And because rivers were the main source of water, completely organized around them, leading to more efficient farming practices and the of complex social structures demand water resources.
Okay, that's great. Thanks so much for explanations. Maya, now can you tell us like, about the transport? So, how were rivers used for transportation in the ancient time? That was all interesting.
You're very welcome. And friends, for any chance that's right. Transportation. Rivers were basically the highs of the ancient world. It was way easier and faster to move goods and people by boat than by land, especially if you're talking about anything heavy or bulky. Think about things like stone for building, grain for food, or even just everyday pottery that could be done much more efficiently on a river. And it wasn't just about moving things to distance, but also from them. Opened up trade networks and allowed civilizations to connect with each other over long distances. Does that make sense? It was a major factor in economic growth and cultural. Hesham, are you still with me? It seems a little shaky.
Yes, Maya, I am still
Just
with
okay.
you. No, no, I am still with you. I was just careful listing your answer, things like clearing it in a really engaging way. So right now, can you explain like did rivers connect different civilizations or isolate them?
Oh, okay, good. Glad to hear you were just listening. That's a really interesting question. Did river isolate civilizations? Answer is both. It's complicated. River definitely acted as corridors for connection. They allowed for trade, communication, and the exchange of ideas between different groups of people. But at the same time, they could also create barriers. Not everyone had easy access to rivers, and sometimes crossing them was difficult, dangerous. So they could unintentionally isolate communities from each other. It really depended on the specific geography and the technology available at the time. It wasn't a simple either situation. Does that make sense?
It's my I think that makes sense because I don't know about it, so I have to like I have to uh, take a note on your words, on your answers. So now can you explain like were there any major trade hubs located near rivers?
That's a really smart approach, taking notes as well. That's helping. Okay, so your trade hubs near rivers. There are tons of examples. Think about ancient Egypt and the Nile. The city of Thebes was a huge center for trade, and everything moved up and down the Nile. Mesopotamia, between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, was another major hub. Cities like Babylon and Ur flourished because of river trade, and later in cities like Athens and Corinth were important ports that connected the Mediterranean world via waterways. And Sea and Yellow rivers were vital for transportation. It's honestly hard to find a major ancient civilization that was located near a river and benefited from that access. Does that give you a good thumb of it? I can give examples if you'd like.
Yes, Mike. Please give us a specific example so we can know it better.
Absolutely. A specific example. Okay, let us see Baghdad. It was founded in the 8th century on the Tigris River because its location quickly became a major trading center, connecting the Mediterranean world with China. Goods like silks, spices, and precious metals flowed through Baghdad, making it the richest and most cosmopolitan cities in the world. It wasn't just the trade that made it important. The river also provided access to fresh water, fertile land for agriculture, and a way to transport building materials. So, Baghdad is a perfect example of a city that truly flourished because of location on a river. Does that help with the head title? I'm still getting
But
used
no, no,
to
Maya, I
phrasing,
don't
but I'm
want
happy
to
to learn.
explore more things about it. The example you gave is enough. So I now can you tell us that how did cities along rivers plan their infrastructure?
Okay, good. Baghdad was enough for now. You want to know how city rivers plan their? What were you gonna say? You cut out for a second there. Planning their. Still with me? Get worried
I'm sorry with you. My
about the connection.
my question was that how did cities along rivers plan their infrastructure?
Okay, got it. How did cities along rivers plan their infrastructure? My for the lag. The connection is really choppy. Okay, so planning infrastructure around a river was a huge thing. First and foremost, they had to deal with flooding. That meant building walls, levees, and canals to control the water. They assigned their cities to take advantage of the river for transportation, build harbors and warehouses. Freshwater supply was crucial, so they developed systems for transfer into the city and managing wastewater. And because rivers are also a source of potential disease, sanitation was a major concern. So you see a lot of emphasis on things like sewers and public baths. It's all about managing the river's power and harnessing benefits while mitigating the risks. Does that make sense?
I think that makes sense. That was really amazing. So now can you explain that? Did rivers influence the design of ancient architecture?
Very kind. And yes, rivers absolutely influenced the design and layout of ancient cities. They often built cities with the river flowing right through the center, creating natural divisions within the city. They also built their structures with the river's flow in mind. Buildings to take advantage of breezes or to flood waters. In many cases, the most important buildings, temples, palaces, governments, were located near them to symbolize the city's connection to this resource. And the materials they used to build with were often sourced from the river, transported along. Rivers really shaped the look and feel of these cities.
Okay, that's yes.
Good job.
Okay, I am not
Okay, I think we
like
covered a lot.
I'm not taking anything like I'm not taking anything very detailed because I have much questions more. So I am curious telling that what spiritual or religious significance did rivers have?
Okay, you want to dive into the spiritual and religious aspects? Excellent. So, rivers were often seen as sacred or divine in many ancient cultures. It can take in ancient Egypt, the Nile was worshipped as a god, Hapi, who controlled the floods and ensured a bountiful harvest. In Mesopotamia, rivers were associated with deities like Enki, wisdom, and water. In India, the Ganges River is considered holy and essential to Hindu practices. Because of this reverence, there were often restrictions on how to interact with rivers. Things like polluting water were often forbidden. And some areas along the river might have been designated as sacred sites where only priests or specific individuals were. Rituals and ceremonies were often performed on river banks to honor gods and ensure their continued favor. It was about maintaining a respectful relationship with the natural world, acknowledging its spiritual power. Does that make sense?
Okay, man, that's great.
So your
Yes,
commission
ma'am.
seems to
Same
be.
here. Now my time of interview is almost completed. So Maya, in last, what is the one message which ancient Tibet civilization give to today's world? And it should be
Okay,
like not a very long.
right, short and sweet. Okay, if I had to distill one message from ancient river civilizations to today's world, it would be this: respect the resources you have. They understood that their survival depended on living in harmony with nature, and particularly on managing water wisely. Today, we face similar challenges with climate change and resource scarcity. Remember their lessons about sustainability, cooperation, and reverence for the natural world for a future. Does that well, it was really great talking to you again, Hesham. I'm glad we could explore these ideas together. I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Okay, Maya, thank you so much for giving a really amazing message. And now I have 1 minute left for my interviews podcast. So now we have 200 this podcast. Thank you so much, Maya, for giving me precious time. I really enjoyed the conversation. I know a lot. I learned a lot of information from you about the why ancient civilizations are centered near rivers. So yeah, this is the today's my interview with Maya. I hope you all learned a lot from it and learn from it. So see you next time with any new topic of my interview. Till then, Allah Hafiz in and as always, Pakistan Zindabad.
You're very welcome, Hesham. I enjoy our conversation immensely, and please call me Maya. It's been a pleasure, as always. And good luck with the rest of your podcast. I'm sure you'll do great. Talk to you soon. Hesham, you're still there? So make sure everything went okay with the broadcast. Okay, I'll assume everything went well then. Feel free to reach out anytime you want to chat. I'll be here. Okay. Still there, Hesham?